So we're jumping back into Richard Morgan KC's evidence to the Post Office Horizon IT inquiry, and it seems by the early 2010s the Post Office are getting worried. There is a civil claim being mounted by subpostmasters. There are legal firms telling them that they've got tens of cases that they're currently preparing for civil litigation, and the Post Office is seeking advice from barristers now on how to defend themselves from it. And Richard Morgan explains about one meeting, a 30-minute in-person meeting had with some of his colleagues as well as General Counsel for the Post Office and another Post Office lawyer on the advice of the general conversation that happened during that initial consultation and the advice and conclusions, at least initially, that were given to the Post Office. Let's jump into the inquiry.
June 2012, a short telephone consultation, and we're going to look at that at a moment.
I'm not sure, was that a telephone I'm not sure whether that was a telephone consultation or in person.
Quite right.
Yes.
Can we look at that, please?
Of course.
It's poll 406484. You'll see that it's a Bond Pierce attendance note of a conference at your chambers, Maitland Chambers, on Tuesday the 12th of June 2012. And we can see that you are recorded as having been present, along with Daniel Margolian. Was he then a junior barrister from your chambers?
Yes, he was.
A solicitor from Bond Pierce, Gavin Matthews.
I don't remember him.
You don't remember him?
No. I don't remember either of Susan Crichton or Hugh Flemington either.
If I can jog your memory at all, I will try it. Susan Crichton, an in-house solicitor at the Post Office. At that time, I believe she was Post Office's General Counsel. Does that ring any bells?
No.
And Hugh Flemington, also an in-house solicitor at at the Post Office.
Yes.
If we just read through the attendance note, it was recognised that an impasse had been reached in relation to the Horizon litigation, which the Post Office is seeking to address. The question is, what is the best way of breaking that impasse? Do you remember that at this time the litigation that is being referred to was a potential group action on behalf of a large number of postmasters against the Post Office, arising from action taken against them by the Post Office on the basis, they said, of faulty Horizon data?
No, I don't. I received a copy of this document in the supplemental bundle last week or the week before.
This will have been the GLO then, I imagine, the 555 sub-postmasters who took a case that they eventually won in 2019.
I went back and checked my Chambers records as to what was shown in relation to this con. I don't seem to have received any formal instructions in relation to it. There's no record of papers being delivered before the con occurred. I seem to think, although I don't know why, that Daniel Margolian was going to be instructed to produce a written opinion in relation to something. But aside from that, that's what's shown in this attendance note. That's the limit of my recollection, I'm afraid. I'm sorry, I just don't have any recollection of it.
So you can't remember now the litigation which is referred to in that first?
No.
If we just, that first bullet point, if we just scroll down to see whether there's anything else that jogs your memory, do you see at the end of the third bullet point, it says, ... Access Legal will start to pursue all the civil cases they're currently sitting on. Do you remember a firm of solicitors called Shoesmiths?
I know the name.
You know the name of the firm?
Yes.
Do you remember the firm of solicitors Shoesmiths who were acting, I think then, on behalf of 5 clients where they had delivered letters of claim and said that there were another 85 odd clients who they were consulting on in relation to potential claims, and Access Legal was the part of Shoesmiths, the branding part of Shoesmiths that was bringing the claim or threatening to bring the claims?
I have no recollection of that at all. I mean, as I say, from my Chambers system, it looks like there was a con booked. They turned up for 30 my impression of all of the occasions on which the post office contacted me after Castleton was they wanted to see whether there was any expertise that I could bring to bear on their approach or their litigation that might assist. And they, on each occasion, I gave them pretty much the same answer.
Let's look at what is recorded then. So we've read the first bullet.
I mean, just look at that third bullet point, though. It's a bit damning, isn't it? Whatever the findings of the expert report, it will not resolve the problem. Post Office will be damned if they do and damned if they don't. If the findings are that there are no issues with Horizon, people will see that as a whitewash. Whereas if the findings are negative, that will open the floodgates to damages claims by SPMs who were imprisoned for false accounting, and Access Legal will start to pursue all the civil cases they're currently sitting on, which Jason Beers just mentioned, 85 cases there. So at this point, the post office has painted themselves into a corner. They've brought all this legal action on unsteady ground, and now they're worried that actually there's going to be a floodgate of claims against them, which of course we now know there is now. But then it seems that the attitude of the post office has been, we need to stop this at all costs, and if anything has made them more intense after this period in the pursuit of people rather than less intense. And let's be honest, from what we've seen from the cases pre-2012, they were already going at this pretty intensely.
Bullet point, the second bullet point, the proposal is to instruct an independent expert to prepare a report on the Horizon system. Is the highest risk response to the issue. Does that appear to be you setting out or framing the issue for discussion, namely whether an independent expert should be instructed to report on the Horizon system?
Look, I'm afraid I genuinely don't know, because I've got no recollection and I don't think I got instructions. So whether this note is recording what I was being told or whether it's recording a conversation, I just don't know.
It continues. What will it achieve? It will not be able to address any of the civil or criminal cases dealt with under Old Horizon. Will it seek to review particular cases? If so, which ones? Would that have been your view at the time?
Well, it seems a sensible expression of what it would achieve.
So a series of hypothetical questions are set out. What will it achieve? Will it be able to address the civil or criminal cases dealt with under Old Horizon? And will it be able to review particular cases? Would you?
Because I think at that point, what they called on Horizon Online was being rolled out or had been rolled out. Old Horizon was often referred to as Legacy Horizon, so prior to Online Horizon coming live.
Do you agree that this note appears to record you questioning for these three reasons the wisdom of instructing an expert to produce a report?
Yes, it's quite possible. But as I said, it's quite possible, but I just have no specific recollection of this meeting.